walking you through and just showing you how easy these guys actually are. We are going to start with the pomegranate and horseradish flatbread. It can be found, if you're in your cookbook, it can be found on page 204. And that is essentially what we're making. It is going to start from naan. We're going to add some horseradish and some mayo and some lemon juice. And then we're going to put some pomegranate. We're going to cut this thing up together and we will see how that goes. I am not a trained chef. I am not a culinary artist. I am someone that just brings easy recipes to you in an easy cookbook, in an easy way, because it is not about how elaborate your spread can be. It's not about being Martha Stewart. It is about bringing people into your home. So anyway, we are going to start with this guy. So I'm going to put that guy up so that I can look at that recipe, make sure I'm giving you all of, because I cook by feel. Writing a recipe book, writing a cookbook was kind of difficult. It was kind of hard because I don't do measurements. I just kind of throw and go. And so I wanted to make sure that everything today is easy for you to follow along. So we are actually going to start with a cup of horseradish. I'm going to get a spoon really fast. We're going to start with a cup of horseradish. That is going to be our base for the cream, or the spread, not the cream, the spread that's going to go on our flatbread. You can see that I already have the flatbread out on the table. On the table. This is stone fire naan. This is stone fire naan straight from the grocery store out of the package. I did not do anything to it. I didn't toast it beforehand. I didn't put any salt or pepper on it. We're going to put all of this horseradish in there and then put that right there. Then we are going to add half a cup of sour cream. Where did it go? Where did the sour cream go? Here it is. Man, I have a tiny apartment kitchen, and so sometimes it can be difficult to do 3 recipes all at once. You should see the setup I have all around this bar. There are ingredients everywhere, and so it can be kind of difficult. Okay, so we're going to do half a cup. I'm just going to put it in the same container because it is just that easy. You cannot mess things up. If you put a little bit more cream, it's going to taste a little bit more like sour cream. If you're going to put a little bit more horseradish, it's going to taste a little bit more like horseradish. So we're going to put half a cup of sour cream, excuse me, got choked on that, and then half a cup of mayo. Let me get another spoon. I tried to do today at Metro Appliances. They have so many, I've done several events or live streams there, and they were booked. They had another event this morning. So we tried to get it somewhere that was a little less crowded and cramped, but this is what we've got today. And you know what? I think that this makes it a little bit more authentic, a little bit more genuine. You're seeing me in the kitchen. We are doing this together. Okay, so I'm going to take my tablespoon. We are going to do 2 tablespoons of lemon just to add a little bit of acidity to knock down some of the bitterness in the horseradish. Put a little bit of salt and pepper in there. So I'm a big salter. If you are not a big salter, what I like to say is all the salt in my cookbook is a guideline. You can do a little bit more, you can do a little bit less. Just remember, salt enhances flavor and pepper changes it. So if you want to change the flavor entirely, just go ahead and add a little bit more pepper. And if you want to give yourself some space and really enhance some of that flavor, add and subtract some of that salt. So after that, we're going to do Dijon mustard. And I like this whole grain Dijon mustard. I think that it adds a little bit, what I call it personality. So I think it adds a little bit of personality to the sauce because it has the grain in it. So we're going to do a tablespoon, and I'm just going to use a tablespoon and put that in there. I love mustard, so you can't go wrong in my book with mustard. And then we're going to top this off with some Worcestershire. We are going to be using 2 teaspoons, so not a whole lot, just a couple of dashes in here. And then we're going to mix this thing up. I have my oven on 350. It actually needs to be on 425, but because we're doing 2 recipes today, if I can get this off. Y'all ever have trouble with the bottles? Yeah, I do too. Okay, so we are just going to do a dash, dash, dash. Oh man, Worcestershire is so, so good. Okay, and then we are going to stir this guy up and make this paste or spread to put on our flatbread. Now, one flatbread, the package comes with two, right here, 1, 2. So one will feed about 2 to 3 people. So you've got 6 servings between the two of them. But this sauce, you make so much of it because of the flavor. You could actually probably do another package. So if you went to the store and you picked up 2 packages, probably be the same. So I'm going to set that aside, clean off my little workstation here. And then we are going to put the naan bread with the arugula. We're going to sprinkle some arugula on top, and then we are going to do the pomegranates. So I'm going to put these guys right here. I'm going to smooth this out. Now, I'm a big sauce person because this has mayonnaise in it, because this has some sour cream in it. It is gonna thicken up when you cook it, and it is so good. Now, I will say that when we were testing recipes, this is a recipe that I had several people go, oh, I don't like horseradish. Oh, I don't like mayonnaise, or I'm just not a big mustard person. Well, all of these flavors work together so well that they were kind of shocked that they loved it. This is one of probably 3 or 4 recipes in the cookbook that were completely just kind of like silent killers. They were just kind of like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I didn't realize that it was going to be this good. So I am going to spread out that cream sauce, and then we're going to take the Brie, and I'm going to put some Brie on this. If you're not a big Brie person, you could top this with mozzarella. I don't really like topping. Brie just has its own flavor, so I enjoy it. All of my cheese people out there are going to be dying at the way that I cut Brie. But remember, I'm not a trained culinary artist. I am just your best friend in the kitchen showing you how to do some tips and tricks. So it has this really thick rind on it. You're going to take your knife and you are just going to shave that off, and it comes right off just like that. So I'll show you. Came just right. Okay, so we'll do this side too. So that's how it starts. I'm going to take it and I'm just going to shave it off, and I don't have to do it hard. This is just me topping this, just shaving the top of it. So we're going to put that there, and I'm going to cut this into little bitty slivers. I'm just going to top with the Brie. Just really easy. And you don't have to cover it with Brie. This Brie is going to melt out, and you're going to cut it in such a way when you get done that every bite will be a little bit different. And that's what I love. As you get down to the thicker part of the edge of the Brie, the slices are going to be a little bit bigger. So cut them a little bit thinner. Don't go too thick, because the thicker the Brie, the tougher the taste. And some people are not Brie people. It's pretty strong cheese, but I love its creaminess when it melts. So it's going to be amazing. So we're going to top with some arugula, just like that. Not too much, because you want to be able to see all of your cream sauce. You want to be able to see that Brie below it. And then we are going to move this to the side and get after our pomegranate. See if we can do this together. So we're going to take this. See if we can't get into it. Now, it's a little early for pomegranate season, so we were chasing pomegranates today around town, trying to figure out where we could get them. And Walmart did have them. I'm up in Northwest Arkansas, so Walmart did have them. But did not have, usually around this time of year, they will have pomegranate arils in a little container, so you don't have to mess with all of this. That's something I write in my cookbook, like don't try to de-seed a pomegranate because it's so messy, but we are de-seeding one today because they did not have, and I mean, it's not bad. It's just really messy. So we are pulling these out. Really, they come out really simple. You don't want to get any of that rind in there, but if you do, no big deal. But we are gonna top this. And what I love about this for like a Christmas party is because the red from the pomegranates and the green from the arugula really make it a festive treat. So it's great for a party, and everybody will love it because it comes together so quickly, especially if you can find those arils that are already taken out of the rind. So I'm putting this on there. I hope you can see it. I don't think you can, but you can see how I'm putting that on there. Maybe I'll stick this back here so you can kind of see it. So I am taking these, and I'm just lightly knocking them out of the pomegranate. So it makes it super easy just to go straight to that. Yeah, straight onto the flatbread. One thing I do love about working in an apartment though is because I can just go straight and clean this off straight into the sink. Do y'all ever do that? Oh, look at all of this pomegranate. Do you see all of this? Oh, it's so beautiful. I love when pomegranates come into season in the fall because, man, they are a game changer. And I know that some frozen fruit mixes have started putting the pomegranate seeds actually in the frozen fruit mixes. So that's really fun. Okay, I think we're good. So it didn't take long at all. Can somebody see what time it is and tell me that, man, did that come together in about 10 minutes? So we're gonna put this in the oven at 350. You can kind of see where we are. Going to put this at 350, and it needs to be in there at 425 for 9 to 11 minutes. So we're going to leave this in there for about 15 minutes, and then we'll come back and we'll check it. But we really want that brie to be super melted. And remember, because we're using the naan, we don't necessarily have to cook the bread. It's not like we're about to cook puff pastry, and that's a little bit different. Also, can I taste this? I'm gonna taste it. Guys. Woo! So good. Oh, so good. Okay, I'm putting this to the side. I'm gonna clean this off really fast. So look, one recipe down, 2 more to go, and one is a drink, so it'll come together super fast. If you have any questions, put them in the chat and I'll try to see them, and I can answer any questions you have. We're gonna go straight over to the puff pastry now, which is probably one of my favorite recipes in the cookbook. And I wanna show you, at the end, I'm gonna show you how you can plate everything, because I know that sometimes plating is the most challenging part. We make the recipe, we see it, but we don't know how to replicate the picture from the, magazine or the cookbook. So I'm going to show you. So what I've done, this is actually optional in the cookbook. Maybe I'll find it so I can show you. So in the cookbook, so I've broken the cookbook. This is actually kind of cool. I've broken the cookbook up into 6 different tables. It is a Christian devotional. And so it's broken up into 6 different tables that we see Jesus serve at in scripture. So the table that serves, the table that teaches, the table that connects and welcomes and parties and celebrates. And so within each of those, I give different moments that you can pick from to celebrate. Now you can make any recipe in here for any event, or any moment. I think that community is created in the specific moments, in the smaller moments. I love birthdays and anniversaries and holidays, but sometimes it's about the smaller moments, like the game night or the brunch, the movie on Friday night with your family, those small little moments that happen on a Tuesday or a Sunday afternoon that bring people together almost make us a little bit closer. It provides a more intimate and vulnerable space for us to open up and truly connect on like a heart-to-heart level. So anyway, this asparagus is actually in Friendsgiving, so it is in a holiday moment, but Friendsgiving can be a little bit smaller, and it's in the table at parties at the very end of the book. So if you are following along in your cookbook, you're going to be on page 196. This is the Boursin and asparagus tartlet, and let me tell you, it is so good. So I'm going to show you what I've done first, because it's optional to roast your asparagus first. I have roasted it. I put a little bit of olive oil and salt because I'm a big salter. I put this in the air fryer for 5 minutes. I took my asparagus, and you're gonna keep them in the rubber bands, how they come, and just cut off about an inch and a half. You want to make sure that you're getting a good, nice, new, crisp end on the bottom of your asparagus. And I like to do it with the rubber band still on because it keeps them all together. Just a little tidbit, little hack. You probably knew that, but just in case you didn't. So I've already roasted mine just to cut down on a little bit of time because I didn't know how much time we would have together here. So I have already done that. I'm going to take out my puff pastry, hoping that it's already thawed. It's been out this morning, so I'm hoping that it is a little thawed, and it is, just a bit. We are going to take this, and we are cooking at 350, which is why the oven is at 350 this morning, and that's why we're cooking the pomegranate and horseradish flatbread. That's why we're cooking it in the oven at 350, because I just wanted both things in the oven at 350. So that's what we're doing. So I'm gonna spread this out, actually getting some Pam. Where's my Pam? Let me get some Pam and just spray this so that it comes out nice, comes off nicely here in a minute when we take this out. So I'm gonna open this up. I love a good flatbread. I mean, puff pastry. Okay, so then after we do this, we are going to get the Boursin. I got my Boursin over here. Excuse me. Got some puppies on the floor today. Do y'all have dogs? I have 2 little Papillons and then a terrier mix. So fun is on the ground with me today. So I'm going to take this Boursin. Now, let me tell you, I went back and forth on Boursin in the cookbook. I wanted to do something with it because I just love the flavor of the cheese. I really want to lick this right now. It's so good. So I went back and forth. I really wanted to do a Boursin mac and cheese, but it just ended up, I don't know, not being are we okay? Everyone can still see me? So we are gonna just press this out and leaving about an inch all the way around. You want a little bit of a crust on here. So, and this is a cold cheese. It's a spreadable cheese, but you're gonna have to work with it. You can see how I'm working with it. Can y'all see that? Seeing how I'm working with it. We are just gonna lay that asparagus right on top at the end. It's gonna be so good. I love that, you know, historically, traditionally, we've used asparagus, and our grandparents and our great-grandparents, when they cooked asparagus, they would make, and the Southern tradition is to make a cheese sauce to go with your asparagus. And I love that this kind of takes a modern twist on that. And we just add the cheese. It's not a cheddar cheese, but we just add this cream cheese Boursin goodness straight to the puff pastry, and it makes asparagus kind of a handheld little appetizer. You could definitely serve this at dinner and put it in the middle of the table, but it's also a great appetizer. And in the book, I don't have it cut up, but I can show you, if that would be helpful, how I would cut it up. Super good. So I'm going to show you how I pulled this all together and really spread that out. Ooh, It's so good, guys. Okay. You can see how that has a little bit of a rim all the way around. We're going to rub some egg wash on that in a minute. Now comes the fun part. We are just going to add these little guys one by one. You don't have to do it one by one, but I enjoy doing them one by one. And let me tell you something, because you're going to be cutting them up, you want to make sure those ends are all over the place. You want to make sure that some of the ends are on one side, some of the ends are on the other, because that will just provide a little bit easier or more tasty treat for your friends. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about in this. So you can see how I've done this. I have some of my asparagus tips up here. Some of my asparagus tips are down here. I'm going to cut some smaller ones to put the asparagus tips actually in the middle, because I want to make sure that no matter how I cut, and I'm going to cut this in squares later, no matter how I cut it, I want to make sure that everyone has a really nice, tasty little treat. Oh, that one cut for me. So I'm going to take these and I'm going to cut them in half. So I cut them a little bit shorter. Can y'all see that? And I'm going to layer them straight through. I'm going to pick up a couple more and do the same thing, just so that the tips are, it's a little bit thick, just so that the tips are sprinkled throughout, so everybody gets some of that good tip. So anyway, that's what we're working with. Now we're going to make an egg wash. I have a fresh egg here. So an egg wash is basically just protein and fat that you're going to add to a pastry or a bread, and what it's going to accomplish is going to brown it. It's also going to make it glossy if you have more of a high fat. So if you're going to add, I'm just going to add a teaspoon of water to this, but if you add milk, it's going to add a little bit more fat, and so it's going to be a little bit more glossy. And if you add a heavy cream, it's going to be even glossier. What you're really hoping for is, though, that protein is what is going to really brown it. So you want to make sure you have that brown. I am whisking this so that it spreads easier. You can also add some salt. You just need to let the salt sit in it and activate or break down the yolk so that it spreads in the proteins so that it spreads. But I'm not going to add salt. Shocker, I know, because I'm a big salt person. So where's my little brush? So I'm going to take this and I am just going to brush this on the edge of the entire, it's okay. If some of it gets on your cheese, it's not going to hurt it because it's all going to cook down together. We just want to make sure those edges are nice and toasted. Okay, just like that. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like when it goes in the oven. I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper right on top. The asparagus has already been salted, but I just want to make sure that we have just that last little bit. None has fallen off on the plate. And then pepper. Do that with my hand. Okay. I'm going to put this in the oven. Now that is going in the oven as I clean up my workspace. That's going in the oven for about 20 minutes. And so that's what we will be waiting on. But that's going to go in the oven, and then we will be able to see kind of what that looks like. We're going to pull the pomegranate out first. But before we do any of that, we are going to be making, as I clean my workspace, we are going to be making a apple cider spritzer. I am not putting alcohol in mine today, but you could absolutely add some rum or gin. I also, if you are a black apple cider drinker, a little local beer up in Northwest Arkansas, but if you are a black apple cider, they have a pumpkin spice black apple cider beer, and it is so tasty. And so if you wanted to add that, you could absolutely add that to your drink. So what we're going to need today, and this has everything in it, and I'm going to explain what we have here. We have our base apple cider. We're making this a spritzer though, so we are adding a lot of stuff to it. We are adding some simple syrup to make it a little bit sweeter. We are adding an orange seltzer water, and then we're also adding a ginger ale. I'm going to sprinkle some pumpkin spice because tis the season, right? I'm going to sprinkle this in there. Pumpkin pie spice actually has cinnamon and nutmeg. It's a variety of seasonings that are spices that come together to make this seasoning. And so I do want to make sure that if you don't like pumpkin pie spice, maybe you're not a nutmeg person, you can just use cinnamon. It's super easy, but we are going to use 2 to 1. So 2 cups or 1 cup and then half a cup of your apple cider to your ginger ale and your sparkling water. Now, here's the thing with any of my recipes, anything can be substituted. It's super simple. So the sparkling water gives us a little bit of an orange flavor, but it also gives us a lot of that carbonation. And then a lot of sugars come from our ginger ale. So if you were to add a black apple cider to this, you would not need either of these guys, and you would just need to put a full cup of your black apple cider in the drink, and then your 2 cups of the apple cider. If you wanted to put in maybe the Truly or the Bud Light Seltzer Holiday Pack, they all have cranberry and orange flavors for the Christmas season. You would need to remove both of these guys and put in 1 full cup of your Truly or your Bud Light seltzer or seltzer of your choice that has flavor in it. You just want to make sure that it has a little bit of sugar and a little bit of flavor, and then it also brings in that carbonation. That's what you're looking for, and that's what I've made up within my orange seltzer water and my ginger ale today. And then we are going to put 1/4 cup of simple syrup in, 2 cups, 1 or half a cup of each. So 1 cup of your ginger ale and your orange seltzer water, 1/4 cup of the simple syrup. And then we are going to top with some sugared cranberries that I made. Let me grab those. And I have apples. You could also do, an orange slice if you wanted to do an orange slice. Super easy. So let's get started. Again, you guys know I don't really measure, I eyeball things. So I'm doing 2 parts to 1 part. We good? We're going to start, I'm putting it right into a pitcher, and it's going to be easy. I don't need a shaker. So add the ginger ale. Then we are going to add the seltzer water. Now, if you taste it and it needs a little bit more sugar, if it's not as sweet as you were hoping for, you can add a little bit more. That wasn't quite 1/4 cup probably. You can add a little bit more simple syrup. That simple syrup will really help. If you are not a simple syrup person, you could use honey and just make sure that honey dissolves in there. Oh, so good. Okay. And we are going to put a little bit of this guy in there. Oh my gosh, yes. Really mix that up. Let's cut. Got my 2 glasses. Let's cut this apple. Nice. I don't know where my knife went. We'll grab another one. Oh, it's down in the sink. Okay, so we're just cutting this, and then I'm going to cut this up right over it, and I'm going to make this apple slices just like that. Not that part. That part was the rind. You got some apple seeds. Woo, okay, we're gonna pour this in. we are going to top it off with, where'd that spoon go? We're gonna top it off with some cranberries. Now, the way that I sugared the cranberries, it takes like 2 hours, so that's why we're not doing it together today. So you are going to run your cranberries in some simple syrup. You could also do half a cup or equal parts sugar and water. Put that on the stove, make sure that sugar melts entirely, drench those, drench the cranberries in the simple syrup, let them sit for a minute. Then you're gonna put them on a wire rack, let them cool for about an hour, and then sprinkle them with sugar, and then let them kind of sit a little bit more. So that is, oh my gosh, this looks so good. Guys, okay, so I was talking about this so I'm over on Instagram at a tabletop affair, and I have something every Sunday night called Sunday Supper Club. It's at 9 p.m. Central-ish. I work on Turner time, so I'm a little bit late. I'm a little bit early. It's fine. So anyway, I have Sunday Supper Club. And one of the things I love about Sunday Supper Club is that it's live on Instagram, so I can kind of interact with people. And we made this a couple of weeks ago, and I was saying I wish that in 2021, we had the ability that you could sit there on a screen and you could actually taste what I'm tasting, because it is so refreshing. It's so refreshing. So you can kind of see the cranberries and the oranges. Oh, I mean, it's such a fun fall drink. I'm actually making this for a festival next weekend. And what I love about this is you can buy your apple cider in bulk. And so it's super easy to make this and replicate it, because all of the items are equal parts, and it can get maybe kind of expensive if you're going to add alcohol to it. But we're just for an apple cider spritzer, something super fun to serve at Thanksgiving. This is a great option. It makes it super festive with the sugared cranberries in there. So again, I'll show you. I wish you could like see. Can y'all see that? Yeah, you can see that. It's so good. It's like I'm double fisting. So tasty. Okay, we're gonna pull these to the side. We're done with these ingredients. We are going to check now on the flatbread down here. Looks good. Sometimes that goes in and sometimes it doesn't, right? Okay. Okay, so we've got our flatbread. Can y'all see what that looks like? It smells delicious. Again, I wish you could, guys, not only could taste it, but smell it. There we go. That's what it looks like. It's all melted, super tasty. So I'm going to show you how we are going to style this. Now I have these two boards. These two boards came together in a pack at Walmart for about 19 bucks or something like that. Super easy. So we are going to move them straight over to this board, just like so. I'm going to move this out of the way. Also, I'm in the process of moving, thus I don't have all of my kitchen utensils and stuff, and I'm moving into a house and it has a kitchen that I just cannot wait to do these kind of things in. So anyway, well, that's kind of scary. Bear with me. If you are tuning in to Sunday Supper Club on a regular basis, you will see how this has kind of unfolded. You can go back. Everything is on Instagram TV, and will be on a YouTube channel in 2022. So super excited about that. Partnering with some people to make that happen. So anyway, we are going to cut this into, I'm going to let that sit for a minute before I taste it because it's hot. But we are cutting this up, and it's going to be cut into strips. So you can see that it is a great appetizer. It's great for people to enjoy at the table. It is so tasty. Actually, I can't wait because it smells just that good. So I've got a little bit of horseradish. Remember, we put Brie on this. Oh, good. Okay. One other thing, that when you're plating things, you totally don't have to do this, but everyone's always like, how how do you make, as a food stylist, how do you make everything look so good on Instagram? Well, you are going to use greens. You're going to use white plates. Let me tell you something. If you are using a colorful plate underneath your food, it's going to distract from the overall. It's going to distract from the overall look and feel of your food. And so, if you go back and you look at a lot of photography from food stylists, they use a lot of neutral colors. You'll see a lot of taupes. You'll see a lot of light blue. You'll see a lot of white plates. So if you have not invested in white plates, and you want your food to kind of look a little bit better, I know a couple of years ago, my mom was asking for, some Christmas presents, and we got her 3 or 4 new white platters. Those white platters are what we put our food on when we eat at meals. We have a very large family, and so that's what we eat together, and so, or how we eat together. And so anyway, it was one of those things that we wanted her food to look, and yes, we could have gotten a beautiful themed platter, but we knew that white is what really elevates the food. So that's what we got her. Oh, guys, this is so good. Yeah, I saw someone post, if you have cooking questions, let me know. It was so easy. This came together. We've been here, I don't know what time it is. I don't have a clock anywhere, but we've been together, all of like 30 minutes, and we've already, maybe 40 minutes, and we've already made 3 different things, and we're waiting for it to come out of the oven. 10:41, guys, 40 minutes. We got started a little bit late, maybe because technical issues, but guys, look at how easy these things are. And I was talking through it and doing it a little bit slower because we were having such a good time. Oh my gosh, this is so good. So anyway, the Brie, man, you need the Brie. I mean, you could also do mozzarella, but it's not going to be the same. Anyway, there we go, guys. I don't really like that up there. Is that right there? Look at this. Can y'all see that? Yes? Oh my gosh. Looks so good. Yum! Okay, now that we're waiting on the Boursin, we're getting there. Do y'all have any questions? I can read from my book, but I don't know if you want me to read from a cookbook, but I'll tell you some of my favorite recipes because that's fun. Okay, a couple of things. I know I said that my cookbook's really easy. And everyone's always like, oh my gosh, I want your cookbook. What should I start with? Or what's your favorite recipe? I'll tell you something. I have 2 favorite recipes in the cookbook. One is this Brie pesto and pepper jelly sandwich. This guy is so good, like literally so good. And I put deli turkey. I go to the deli and ask them to cut like extra thick turkey. And I put turkey on my sandwich, and it's amazing. But my other favorite, if I can find it, my other favorite recipe is, man, I just love all of these. When people ask me that, it's kind of like, do you have a favorite child? I'm single, so I don't have a favorite child, but that's kind of what these guys are to me. They're my babies. So don't ask that. No, I'm just kidding. Ask it, because it changes depending on the season and where I'm at. But if I might not be able to find it. So the recipe is a breakfast quiche. It's so good. It is spinach and feta. It has Gruyere cheese in it. It's literally so good. Oh, here's a picture of the naan, of like how it's cut. Can y'all see that? That's how it's cut. But I have, my other favorite is the spinach and feta quiche, if I can find it. But let me tell you about it. It takes a long time. Why does it take a long time? Because you have to shred your sweet potatoes, and you have to remove a lot of the moisture, because there is a ton of moisture in sweet potatoes. When sweet potatoes get cooked down and that moisture comes out, you really are going to have to cook it either a long time to get it real crispy, because the sweet potato makes the crust, or you're going to have to get a lot of the moisture out ahead of time, so you cut down on your cook time. And that's what I encourage in the book, is just continue to squeeze and squeeze and squeeze those those sweet potatoes until they're done, which is a pain. When it says 90 minutes, it's going to take you all of 90 minutes to make this quiche. So I wouldn't necessarily start with the quiche. The other, when you're making when you're writing a cookbook, there are a couple of things you have to do. Even in a cookbook where everything starts from store bought, you really have to kind of prove yourself as a chef or as a cook. I'm not a chef. I feel like that's called like calling myself a doctor. Like I didn't go to doctor school, so I'm not, or medical school. So I'm not going to call myself a doctor. So it's weird calling myself a chef. I'm not a chef. I'm just a person who wrote a cookbook because I really like tips and tricks on how to make hacks with store-bought ingredients. But one of the things, so there have to be a couple of recipes in the cookbook that prove myself that I know what I'm doing in the kitchen. The pomegranate marshmallow is one. I made this so many times testing this recipe and where are the errors? How do I get it right? It's about like making fudge. If there's a slight breeze in the air, the fudge isn't going to set right. So let me tell you, I will never make these pomegranate marshmallows. I have PTSD from making these marshmallows 20 million times when I was writing the cookbook. So I would not make the pomegranate marshmallow. If it's something you want to tackle, have fun, make sure you're holding your mouth the right way and you're winking at it every 5 minutes because it's going to need all the prayers and blessings that you have. Another thing that's super fun is throughout the book, I have these table talks with Abby. I really want to encourage you that it's not about you preparing the whole feast. I don't know where you are when it comes to your faith, but my faith is my most important part of my life. And in the cookbook, The Living Table, I really dive into Jesus doesn't want us, and he doesn't teach perfection. He teaches love my people. And so we need to throw off kind of this cultural stereotype that Instagram and Pinterest put on us and the world puts on us, that we have to have it all together, that we have to be perfect, and we just need to get with the people. One of those things is that it's not necessarily about how big your spread is or what you have on the table. I often joke that Jesus was the inventor of the potluck. The feeding of the 5,000 was taking food that people brought and said, hey, I'm going to share this with everyone, and I'm going to just facilitate the eating of your food. And so, sometimes I think, if Jesus can do it, why can't we? If somebody says, hey, can I bring anything over for dinner? Or can I bring anything over for the party? Don't ever say no, whether it's paper towels or it's ice or, hey, can you make the Boursin asparagus tart? Send them my cookbook. Tell them to go and buy the cookbook and make the Boursin asparagus tart. No, but I think that, we should never say no. We should always, include people. We should be an inclusive people. We should encourage connection with other people. And so one of those ways that you can do that is through inviting them to bring things to your house or to your party. So on the front cover, I actually just noticed something. The croquette monsieur, the croque monsieur casserole is amazing. I use 3 different types of ham in it. I use like a cubed, a diced, and a big, thick sliced ham. And it's literally, and I use French bread. Oh my gosh, it's literally so good. So anyway, little interesting fact about the cookbook is I shot the entire cookbook in 10 days. It was a lot to undertake. And I also worked with my sister to shoot every image in the book. My sister is a photographer in Central Arkansas. Her name is Molly Ann Sandifer, and she shot the entire book, the front cover, and we shot it in my mom's garage. So because of COVID, studios and space was just really hard to come by. Rental stuff was really hard to come by. And so we made do with what we had, and we made everything in my mom's kitchen during COVID. And my sister had just had a 4-month-old baby. she had a baby in January, and then we started shooting in May. So I guess 5 or 6 months, but she would nurse, and then she would come and shoot, and we would rotate on babysitting. And so it was a family event when we shot this book, and I could not have done it without them, but it was so fun to work on a project like this with her, and then to just see the output of, you know, when you come together with your family and with your closest friends, like it takes a village, right? So anyway, super fun. And my sister jokes that all great things started in a garage. You have Netflix and Amazon and Apple, whatever. So anyway, I have the living table shot right in the garage, and all the hands are like my family's hands, which is also fun to like open the book and see my brother-in-law's hands eating the sausage bake. So super, super fun. Let's check on this Boursin tart. Ooh, it looks good. Let me pull this guy out. Ooh, do y'all see that? Burned my hand though. Woo! I'll show you again because that was kind of fast. Okay, you see how it really puffed up. You've got a lot of fun goldenness happening. I will say that fresh eggs, because you get that darker yolk in there, they provide a little bit more of that color. So if you can find fresh eggs, I use fresh eggs from the farmer's market. If you can find fresh eggs, that's where you need to be. So we are going to take this smaller board. So I have this larger board for the pomegranate flatbread, and then I have this guy, and we're going to see if he'll come up. A spray. Yeah. Comes right up. Okay. So then I'm going to move him over. I don't need that knife. I don't know what I was doing. Okay, we're gonna move him right on to this guy, and this is how we're gonna cut him. We're gonna cut him in just, I'm gonna cut him in half first. Oh, look at all of that cheese. Yum, yum, yum. Just like that. And then we're gonna cut him again. And then we're going to cut him into little squares. Should be able to get 16 squares. Oh, that guy didn't cut. So we'll put him right there. And we will just connect all of these guys right like that. Oh my gosh, look at this. My knife, this knife is not my knife, so it's a little bit not as sharp as mine. Come on. So put that guy right there. Oh my gosh, look at this. Okay, I can't wait to eat this one either. We'll take this one. This one looks like a good bite. Guys, it's so good. I'm rushing through this so that you guys can see it because I know we have what 7 minutes. But if you let it cool, the cheese will harden a little bit more. Then cut it. Don't cut it right as it comes out of the oven. It would go good. Guys, this is good. Y'all have any questions? Any thoughts? Any questions about the living table? Any questions about where I shop for groceries? Any questions about what to make for a special occasion? If not, you can buy the book, The Living Table, anywhere books are sold. I would suggest Amazon. I think that Walmart might be running a deal on it right now. And maybe I missed a question. What would you recommend if you're cooking with folks hanging out in the kitchen? Oh my goodness. Looks delicious. Oh, yes. Thank you, Andre. The book, I have signed some book plates and you can get them at Wordsworth Books in Little Rock. Yes. Oh my gosh. Thank you for calling that out. So let me close this. Let me answer that question about cooking with friends in the kitchen. There are a couple of things I would recommend. One of the books or one of the recipes in here is a cheeseburger dip, which is so good. And it has like you can give everyone a different, like you have to cook the meat and then you have to mix the sauce and then you have to put it all like, so that's a really good one. This cheeseburger dip right here is a really good one. I also have let me see. This frozen appetizer board is also really fun. You can give everybody a different ingredient to bring. Like, hey, bring your frozen whatever, and you can put it and just make sure that you have some fresh ingredients. I go through how to lay out a frozen appetizer board. That's also another really fun one. And then I have several of these boards within the book. I have an avocado board, a frozen app board, a taquito board. But I love this popcorn board because it brings everybody's different ingredients together. And you could have something like wasabi peas and somebody bring Chex Mix and somebody bring, M&Ms. And so you really get a variety of flavors. And isn't that how the human race is? Isn't that how people are? We're all different. But when you bring everyone together, we make up such a unique group. And I love that. And that's part of the message of the living table. That's the message behind the popcorn board is that Paul writes in 2 Corinthians that we are made up of many unique parts. And because of those many unique parts, we are brought together as whole. We need all of the different flavors. We need the spicy from the wasabi peas. We need the sweet from the M&Ms. We need the salty from the Chex Mix. So that's also something else that is fun when you're bringing people into the kitchen is have them bring their own ingredients to add to something like that. Let's see what else. Oh, another fun one is the chicken and waffle on a stick. So I use cauliflower chicken. So it's a gluten-free or vegan, whatever, cauliflower. But it has, it's a little bit flatter of a chicken breast. So it works really well in a waffle press. And I put a stick on them. So you can give somebody that and do like a breakfast session where it's like maybe it's a brunch and everybody's coming together and making brunch together, and chicken and waffles is one of them. Maybe somebody is wringing out that sweet potato quiche. You're doing maybe eggs and sausage. There's a breakfast hash in here that you could do. And so anyway, a lot of different options and a lot of variety for opportunities to bring people to the table around unique moments. One last thing before I let you go, I'm over on Instagram and Facebook and Pinterest. I also have 52 weeks of mastering the kitchen. So if you go over to tabletopaffair.com, you can sign up. It'll be a pop-up. You can sign up for the 52 weeks of mastering the kitchen. You can start that at any time. It is completely free for now. And it just takes you every week. We are going to go through something else that you need to master in the kitchen. And super excited. That's a fun thing to do if you're trying to bring people to the table and learn how to do it quick and easy. So Pinterest and Facebook and Instagram, a tabletop affair is where I'm at. And so I am just so excited that you were here to join me. We made the Boursin asparagus tart. We made an apple cider spritzer that you could kind of spike for that adult party that you're going to throw in a couple of weeks. And then we made the pomegranate horseradish flatbread. One last time, I'll show you everything. We did this guy. We did this guy. And then I'm going to end with a little toast to our friends at Central Arkansas Library Systems. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you buy the book at Wordsworth. They had kind of some signed copies, so I'm super excited about that. So guys, thank you so much for joining. I'll see you over on a tabletop affair. Bye guys. Were you waiting? I've been waiting for long.